Here we go. Easy step. He's found financial power in the reservoir. You not know what the reservoir is? Let's find out. Okay, YouTube. Okay, Twitch. Welcome to the channel where we build financial power. My name is Matt, and this is
Potter.
Today, we have somebody on that Potter's been telling me about for a while. I've been consuming his content. His name is Easy Step. I'm about to bring him in. We're fired up to talk to him about the reservoir. Potter, before we dive into this, do you got anything?
No, I'm just like it's so crazy that we got him. I was not looking at numbers correctly until I saw one of his videos and I talked to him in a Telegram chat. And he was like, no, this is the way you do it. And I'm like, dude, I don't understand what you're talking about. But then eventually I went over and over again. I was like, oh my God, he's right. And so, I'm just so happy we got him. And I goofed last night, both of these guys were available and I was asleep. So
no biggie. We'll do it now. Gonna bring him in here. Let's bring him in. There he is.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time and coming on the show. It means a lot. If you guys are new to this channel, I've been taking a wing that is this world of crypto. I'm learning it, as all three of us are still, learning. But Easy Step has a lot of insight into the reservoir, and we want to talk about that. It is would you call that sort of a feature of DRIP? Feature of network?
I would call the reservoir an extended contract of DRIP.
Okay.
So it's we could just have DRIP by itself, right? Your ROI platform where you're earning your 1% per day. You could just have that in the contract. DRIP would be fine, right? But for some reason, Forex decided to build the reservoir along with the DRIP network. But a lot of people don't know about it. Yeah. And the whole purpose and intent of the reservoir is to provide support to DRIP. So yeah, it's an extended contract for the DRIP network, which serves a different purpose.
Okay, got it. If you're brand new to this world, if you don't know what the heck DRIP even means, DRIP is basically a deflationary daily 1% ROI platform, and this is exactly what Easy Step just said. This is a different function in the network, and we're going to dive into that. But before we dive all the way into that, I feel like it's necessary for a little bit of an introduction of yourself. If you had to give sort of a synopsis of who you are, we're also going to plug your channel, put it in the description below, the whole nine. Who are you? What are you? Like, why are you here in this DeFi world?
Yeah, I'm just an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. He started a business when he was about 21 years old, and he sold that business for about $500,000 when he was about 25, 26 years old. So he did very well. So I got inspiration from him to become an entrepreneur. Okay. And I served in the military for 12 years. I got out in about Marine Corps, by the way. I got out. Your service. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for your courage.
Got out and tried to find myself. I actually got out early. I was a very good Marine. I got out early because I wanted to find out what I was truly capable of. So got out, moved to San Francisco, where I worked for the state as a employment representative for veterans, and was by myself, first time as a civilian, a long time as an adult. And I started my first business out in the Bay Area, which is a glove distribution business called Gloves in Time. And I grew that business up to about a good 500 clients. My biggest clients was Roto-Rooter, and I had another. You guys know Roto-Rooter? I had
that's a big company.
Yes. Biggest client. I had Toyota, a lot of the dealerships, Toyota, Mitsubishi, all of them in that particular area, to include a graphic design, makeup design company based in Hollywood. They were also a customer of mine. So they used my gloves to actually do the makeup for a lot of movies that you guys may have seen.
Interesting.
So that business was doing very well. And, it was more of a, feet on the ground, direct marketing type business, and I built it from the ground up. And then after that, of course, we had some things happen, with the pandemic and stuff, and I lost the business because I could no longer provide the same service to my customers because I couldn't get the product in time. So,
Okay.
moved from the Bay Area and I came out here to Japan, and I started working again. I just couldn't. Never felt comfortable working for other people, and I found crypto. I found DeFi. I found drip. I found powder, and here I am on the show.
So, like, how did you stumble upon drip? Like, what's your origin story?
Well, I was actually a warehouse manager for a internet company out here in Okinawa, Japan. And during the day, of course, I'm trying to educate myself, chasing financial freedom and financial power, right? And as I'm doing this chasing, I was looking into crypto because I own Bitcoin, but I figured there has to be another way to earn money with crypto other than just holding the token and speculating on it, waiting for the price to go up. So I did more research and I started looking into DeFi. And one of the first things that came up was drip. And it was a video from Crypto Mark. Not sure if you guys know him, but Crypto Mark. And he's actually my buddy. Crypto
wow.
Mark.
Very cool.
Yes. So I watched his video and I got started with drip, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Yeah. So creepy little fact. I've been creeping on you and watching your content ever since Potter sort of sent you my way. And I actually looked up this morning just to do a little research on you. And I was like, does that location say Japan? Because you can on your YouTube channel, you can figure out where somebody's at. So I was like, hey, creepy. Yeah. So you mentioned it. I'm glad I wasn't the first to mention it. So very cool. That's why it's daytime there and it's not daytime here.
Yes.
Very cool. Right on.
So when I looked at the reservoir the first time, I just saw it as like this thing that I could put, some deposits in and get something back. I didn't understand the transaction part. It looked to me like it was magic. But I started working it, because I was going, okay, how does this work? So when miners came out, for me, I was like, oh, this is a miner, except it gives me back money quicker than drip. And that's where my learning curve started with the reservoir. But it was so basic bitch. When it came to what you laid down, that was the truth. Now, I've watched your video, the longest one, the newest one. I've had to rewind your stuff like 8 times to understand.
Yeah, you're going to have to. Yeah.
Because when you talk about that 1% going over to the 10% and then the 10% splitting to the 5% and the 1% and the 3% being part of the part that doesn't grow. And I was like, oh, I can understand it eventually, but wow.
Yeah. Yes, this is why if you on the surface, right? On the surface of drip, very, very simple, right? And you guys know Forex talks about drip being a very simple foundation. And the reason Forex likes to have drip to be simple is because it makes it a very easy foundation to build additional layers upon. So that was the intent of Forex, to keep drip simple. But the more I began to study drip and then I got into reservoir, I realized that yes, drip is simple, but it's simple genius.
Yeah.
There is a reason why these drip forks cannot succeed, right? They're missing a lot of utilities and aspects of drip that Forex and his genius came up with to ensure that drip was simple, paid out your 1% per day, but it was sustainable. And that's why I like to call it simple genius.
Okay. Well, speaking of simple genius, if you guys go, and again, we will be linking him down below, but I appreciate the way you approach your videos. You have data, you have research, you have technical analysis, you have graphs and charts and all sorts of stuff. To a newbie is, point blank, it's overwhelming. Caveat it's good. Caveat, it's good, because there's plenty of people speaking from emotion, speaking from not as much of a technical analysis. No shade to anybody. What I'm saying is you have a unique advantage, and it's appreciated, good sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And
I was gonna say easy. There's two ends, and we are all maxis for Stunner Breezy. Like, we all love Stunner, but Stunner's biggest claim is, I wish I would read a white paper, right? And so then we have you, who like literally goes into the white paper, but at a non-white paper way. As a user, the way that you help people see, it's just like Matt said, it's a very helpful view, whether you're brand new or you think that you kind of know stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. I do want to add something. Earlier in this video, Matt mentioned that DRIP was a deflationary ROI platform. But I want to introduce something new to everyone. Yes, it is a deflationary platform. Okay, but we have to ask ourselves, why is DRIP deflationary? Right? Because when you look at normal or other projects, the way that they achieve deflation is by burning tokens, right? Or through buybacks. That's how they achieve their deflation. But we say that DRIP achieves its inflation, because it doesn't pay rewards by minting, but it pays rewards from a tax on transaction, right? That's what we say. But when you look further into it, if we only focus on the aspect that DRIP burning, or the aspect that DRIP taxing transactions to achieve deflation, that would more closely make DRIP non-inflationary. And the reason
with you, I don't understand.
Yeah, the reason is non-inflationary is because DRIP is not minting tokens, right?
Right.
So when you're minting tokens, that actually makes you inflationary. When you're not minting tokens, that makes you non-inflationary, because you're not inflating your supply to pay the rewards, right?
Correct.
So that's what we have now. Since we're not minting tokens, that's the opposite of inflation, right? So that means that DRIP is actually non-inflationary. Okay. However, what makes DRIP deflationary is that it actually has a built-in mechanism to burn tokens, right? So if you look at the contract around the time when DRIP actually launched, we actually burned 1,740 tokens.
I didn't know that.
Yes, we burned 1,740 tokens. And ever since then, that number has not changed. So that aspect of DRIP is what makes DRIP deflationary. Okay. So we have the non-inflationary part because we're not paying rewards by minting tokens, right? That's the opposite of inflation. So since we're not minting tokens to pay rewards, that makes DRIP non-inflationary. However, since DRIP does have a mechanism built in to where it can burn tokens, and it has burned tokens in the past, that is what makes DRIP deflationary.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Because when you
saying wow, I'm saying wow. Go ahead.
And I'm tying this into the reservoir, because if you read the short description for reservoir, it says that the reservoir is a non-inflationary yield platform. Not deflationary, but non-inflationary. Now, what makes the reservoir non-inflationary is not minting BNB to pay you your BNB rewards, right?
Say that again.
It's not minting BNB to pay you your BNB rewards.
That's right. It's not. That's right.
That's correct. Getting BNB from the transactions, right? And we talked about this, Potter, the 10% tax in and out. So when you're getting the BNB from the transactions or through the tax, and also from the deposits is getting BNB, and from that BNB, this is how the rewards is distributed to all of the liquidity providers in reservoir. So for this reason, this is what makes the reservoir non-inflationary, because it's not minting BNB to pay BNB rewards. Notice it doesn't say that reservoir is deflationary. It says that reservoir is non-inflationary. And DRIP is the same thing. It's not paying rewards. It's not paying DRIP by minting DRIP. is paying DRIP from a tax on transaction, just like the reservoir pays BNB rewards from a tax on transaction. So that aspect alone for the DRIP platform and the reservoir is what makes them non-inflationary. However, reservoir does not have a mechanism to burn tokens. However, DRIP does have a mechanism to burn tokens, and it has burnt tokens in the past. This makes DRIP deflationary, non-inflationary because of the tax that pays DRIP token or the 1% rewards per day. That makes it non-inflationary, but deflationary because it burned tokens in the past and it has the ability to burn tokens again. However, the reservoir does not have the ability to burn tokens or burn BNB, neither has it burned BNB in the past. So this makes reservoir non-inflationary, and this is why we have the DRIP platform, the Faucet, which makes it deflationary.
Why will we have any instance that we'll need to burn more DRIP in the future?
I've spoken about this with everybody in the reservoir chat, and I advise all of you to go to the reservoir chat. There's a lot of knowledge there. I put together short form answers for a lot of things that I anticipate that people will ask.
Got it.
And one of the questions that was asked is what happens when DRIP can no longer pay rewards, right? Or when all of the DRIP tokens are gone because there's nothing but selling and we don't have any more DRIP in the vault. And my answer to that is I believe that since the inception of DRIP, we have not burned tokens, right? We burned 1,740 from the beginning. After that, we have not burned tokens. What I believe, but if you read into the white paper, it says that if there is a time when DRIP cannot pay rewards, right? They said it's highly unlikely because of the game theory behind DRIP, which is hinting to that minting the tax on transaction.
Mm-hmm.
If DRIP is not able to pay rewards from the vault, it'll then begin minting, right? Now, when it begins minting DRIP to pay rewards, it is no longer reliant on the tax from transaction because the tax on transaction is not enough DRIP to pay out these rewards. So now it has to combine this, whatever tax it has, the tax that it gets or the DRIP it gets from taxation, it combines that DRIP with the minted DRIP. And I believe that it is possible that that Forex could reinstate the burning of tokens if there is a time when the DRIP tokens have to be minted to pay out this 1% daily reward.
It just doesn't seem likely with things going up and 100,000 people doing transactions. Can it happen? Yes, but I just think that there's so much more in the reservoir. And you can correct me, Easy, that have to do with why it's important to establish the bottom. Because I believe, and you can tell me if I'm ignorant, but we saw the price like hovering towards the bottom here. I think it was that reservoir that held that thing together.
Yes, it is.
I was like, this is different. I was like, this is different. That's not supposed to be holding.
It's not supposed to be It's not supposed to be $30 right now. And it's because of this education of the reservoir. I saw this coming, and that's why I shifted my focus to reservoir. And I just posted something in the chat today and told them that the higher the BNB balance in reservoir, the higher our launch pad once DRIP decides to reverse and go to the upside. Okay, because now if you look at the charts, the last time we had a DRIP supply of about 100,000, 106,000, we were not at $30.
What were we?
We were probably around $20, maybe even a little bit lower.
Oh, wow.
And this is because of that support that the reservoir is providing. Remember, the price of DRIP is derived from the BNB balance and the BNB value. So the more BNB that you have in DRIP, the higher price that you're going to get for the DRIP token. Right? However, right now, if you look at the difference between the number of BNB that's deposited via the reservoir and the amount of BNB that's coming from the fountain, there is more BNB in the reservoir right now than it is coming from the fountain.
Wow.
So because of that, this means that the price that we're seeing today is mostly provided or derived from the BNB that we have from reservoir. So thanks to the reservoir patriots, we are the reason from our contributions and those who are helping on the outside through your contributions, you're the reason why we have a $29, $30 price DRIP price today. Also, if no one put BNB in reservoir, no one, and you totally remove reservoir, and we only had drip 1% per day. That's great. Everybody can make 1% per day. Drip is great, right? The deflationary ROI platform, right? They're putting BNB into the fountain. They're getting paid their drip. When they're ready to sell their drip, they get BNB back out of fountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, there's no reservoir. No reservoir. Now let's say that there is no reservoir from the beginning, and then we have our pump, and then here we are today. If there was no reservoir and you remove all the BNB that came into drip via the reservoir, that means that we will have the remaining BNB we would have would only be the BNB that we receive from the fountain.
Wow. Okay.
And if that's the case, we will have a $10 drip price right now.
Got it. Okay.
Wow.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Wow.
Reservoir is important.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So tell me this, and diving a little bit more into the specifics of the reservoir. We've been talking about the reservoir, but we've sort of been circling it, no pun intended. Why do you think it is that people are just now coming to the reservoir? Because I've been around this platform now since December, and it's been quiet. I remember when I first got into drip and started looking around, I was like, not one person's talking about this reservoir. And seriously,
you would say that over and over.
I didn't start truly hearing people talking about it, and there's still not a lot of people talking about it, but just now whispers of it for maybe a month and a half, 2 months, it feels like. Why do you think more people haven't been talking about it since the jump?
Because of the lack of education.
Okay.
And because of the reason people got into drip in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't get into drip to be a patriot, a provider of liquidity through the reservoir. Sure. That's not why people got into drip. Mm-hmm. People got into drip because they wanted to earn the daily 1% ROI, yep, and then try to increase that deposit as fast as possible. Yep. Now, what's one added feature of drip that enables you to increase your deposit on much faster? Mm-hmm. The team building structure. Now, where can we find the team building structure with drip? We find that in the faucet. It's not in the reservoir. So people are going to naturally gravitate to the faucet of drip because you have yield farmers who yield to earn the highest APY. So people are going to naturally go to the place where they can get the highest return on their investment.
Yep.
So
one sec,
right. So there's very little incentive to be in the reservoir. But I do share and let everybody know that one incentive for being in the reservoir is that you're indirectly supporting yourself, your deposit balance in the faucet. Because if you're contributing BNB into the reservoir, you're actually contributing more in helping to increase the BNB balance. In turn, that increases the drip price. And if you have a drip price because of the efforts through the reservoir, that's going to give you more value that you're getting out of the faucet.
So I'm gonna go a little bit more degen, right? I love my drip. I'm happy to support it. I'm happy to know that my support of it is causing the price to stay high. However, I'm looking for profit. Right? And when I mean profit, I don't mean dollars, I mean assets. So when it gives me that 0.001 BNB, that's now giving me, by the time I wake up, 0.013 BNB, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what the miners were doing, right? But what's different about it is it's doing two things. It's providing income for me to reinvest, right? And at the same time, it's allowing me to support the thing that is the reason why I'm retired. So, but I don't think that if we tell people, hey, do the right thing, right? But if we tell them, well, Potter is pulling in 0.1 BNB a week, right? That's 10 weeks. She's making a BNB. That's something that they'll listen to, right? And I don't think that people are truly getting that, because as those users are growing, I was telling Matt, I was in the reservoir early, but it was oh my God, remember it would take a week to get 0.005 because there weren't any transactions. But now that those transactions are going up, Reservoir it's just smart. It's just a smart play from more than just the support angle, but the most important angle, in my opinion, is the support.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Does that make
it
sense,
is.
Evie?
It is, and I truly believe that's the reason Forex has the reservoir there in the first place.
Mm.
That's why
What do you mean?
it's doing a lot more to support the price of drip,
Oh,
to
okay.
support drip more than what is readily noticed.
Yep. Yep. I'm asking, I don't know. Has there been, like you said, a lack of education around the reservoir? Has there been, like, were there, like, whenever drip jumped off, like the whole drip network, was there like AMAs about the reservoir? Was there a lot of education? I feel like I don't feel like there's much out there as far as education about the reservoir. I wonder why that is. I wonder why there isn't more people talking about it. You think it's the same thing? It's not as sexy as the referrals and whatnot in the Faucet?
Right. That's exactly what Forex said. You know, he said in one of his AMAs,
Got
people
it.
are just not attracted to the reservoir because you're not getting as much as an ROI as you can
Sure.
get from the Faucet. Plus, there's no team building structure or system within the reservoir, but you can find that in the Faucet. So that's the primary reason there.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And plus,
Yeah,
it requires a little bit more education when it comes to the reservoir. You got
Right, and I'm sorry if I'm beating the same drum, but I just think that was 2020 reservoir or 2021 reservoir, right? 2022 reservoir, it's operating and running like these mines that are being fed as some kind of ROI back into the actual resource, right? So
Yes.
that changes everything for this thing. It now went from a mechanism of saving to another revenue stream from drip.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It's another revenue stream. But the thing is, I want to talk about two things here.
Okay.
The reservoir, when you're selling drip on the fountain, you're getting BNB. Normally, that BNB will go to your wallet. You're done. But if the reservoir community does a good job educating everyone, now when people have BNB, they see it in a different way because they think of the reservoir. Because I want this 1% to continue to pay me, right? I want this faucet to continue to pay me. So now, when they understand that there's a reservoir that can support that faucet or the 1% that they're getting, now that reservoir is going to begin to capture more of the value going out of drip.
Wait, how is it going to capture the going out of drip? I don't understand.
So when you sell your drip, you get BNB in exchange.
Correct.
Normally, that BNB will go directly to your wallet.
Right.
However, through education, people may not take the full amount of the BNB that you're taking out of drip.
Oh.
So what would normally come out of drip at a rate of 100%, maybe now people will take 95%, put 5% into reservoir.
You're right.
So this contributes to the sustainability of drip. So I'm trying to communicate to people that right now we're having 80% corrections with drip, but through education, through the reservoir community, we may begin having 70% corrections, 60% corrections, because now as that value is leaving drip, which would normally cause an 80% correction, now less value is leaving drip and staying in the drip system, which causes a less impact on the correction.
I'm so glad I asked that question because now it's crystal clear what you were saying. Wow.
So this is the vision. And we call this a positive feedback loop for drip, which me and the team is actually working on now at the Easy Step Roundtable.
So, I mean, you're probably the most gung-ho person I've seen about the reservoir, with hands down. And it's just a fun question. I'm going to say it. If someone said, and this is, I know, not financial advice, but like reservoir or faucet, like, I mean, the way you're speaking right now is just, you're heavy one way, it feels.
If you're a newbie, faucet. If you're a newbie, compound.
Yep.
If you're a newbie, find out the best way to grow your account.
Sure.
Once Drip has proven that it'll pay you and change your life, now support this platform that has made you financially free.
Okay. All right. I like
How
that a
do
lot.
I do that? Let me educate myself to find out how I can do that.
Okay.
Come to the Reservoir community and we can educate you on how you can support the platform that has changed your life.
Okay. Got it.
Wells, it is your duty to support the platform that has paid you millions.
Got
and
it.
the way you support this platform is through the Reservoir. That's why Forex added it. Now, I'm not sure about these other drip forks, but if they don't have a reservoir, this may be why they're failing.
There is one fork that has recently put it in place, and they attempted to put it in place with a drip BNB kind of simulation, and they realized with what just happened to the market, that was a losing proposition.
Yep.
So now they tied it to a stable coin, which was very smart, and it caused the price to stop and start to go back up, right? And now I didn't understand it, but because of our conversation today, I understand why they were able to establish their own bottom. Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're free and clear. They still have work to do. However, like you said, just that little bit, like in a store, if people have an in-store ability, like at a Target or a Sam's Club, and you have the ability to say, hey, I'm going to sell something in the store, and the person is going to have money when I give it back to them, but I'm going to put it way back in the store because now that money is in my store. I want to get them before they get out. 100%. If I had it right by the exit, 100% of that money is going to leave immediately. But if I put it in the back,
right,
they might spread some of that BNB around before they leave, and that's exactly what you're saying. Forex set up. That is really brilliant. But he's rather brilliant, so that makes sense.
And what we're seeing now, because we're actually collecting data, we're seeing that BNB leaves the drip system at a slower rate from the reservoir than it does from the fountain. So once that BNB gets into reservoir, it's going to stay for a longer period of time.
Okay.
Which is also going to contribute to a higher price floor.
Okay. Tell me this. Potter and I we were having a discussion after our show from this morning, and this is embryonic in my words, so you're more than welcome to shoot me down. But tell me, is this translation accurate at all? For a common person, it's like, what? I don't get it. Can you say that drip is like the bank? Okay, it's like the big bank on the street. Okay, and then the reservoir is like the ATM, and people that are inside the reservoir that are contributing to that, they are getting those transaction fees on the income and outcome of people putting money in and out.
Yes, you can say that because you're getting.
I was right. I agree.
Right, because you're getting paid. Because whenever there is a transaction on the fountain, right? Whenever there's a transaction on the fountain, there is a liquidity provider's fee associated with that, and that's a 1% fee, and that fee goes to the reservoir pool to pay out dividend rewards to the liquidity providers. Okay. So yes, you are benefiting from all the transactions that happen within the drip system, basically.
Got it. Okay.
The fountain.
My embryonic word.
And I want people to understand what Matt did, folks. He was not in crypto or anything, so he's able to start putting this together. And that is the kind of thing that you'll have to do. We'll promote Easy's Telegram group and his site, and you should. This is hard. So crypto itself is algebra. This is calculus, right? And the way to understand it is to get your hands dirty, and that's what Matt has done. Matt is now a participant in all of this. You can't theorize it only. Right? You've got to see it moving, or it just doesn't make sense. So if you're listening to this and you definitely have to be more interested, and we'll give you the link, but just know that this is hard. And if you're going, what? Even we have a hard time putting it all together because it's so complicated. But the bottom line is we can tell you by people who are living by it, it was the right thing to do. Easy also was the person who told me, yeah, I left my job. And I was like, what now? And that gave me some courage, right? Like I was like, he's taking a chance. That's what we have to do here, right? Like I could have still been employed and, you know, working half-assed at my job, but that's not the way to do it. You have to take that leap.
Right. And I want to, if I can just step in here, if I did not quit my job at that time when I spoke to you, Potter, everyone, I would not be able to provide the content on my YouTube channel that you're getting right now, because I just would not have the time to dedicate myself to study and creating the diagrams that you see, and also having the energy to even communicate it in the way that it's communicated on those in those videos.
Well,
so yes, you do have to take a chance to really find out what you're truly capable of.
Well, your videos are legendary, and it's been like the purpose of this is to get you to understand easy. You know, our audience is a little bit different. We're happy to have some of your audience join, but this is a place you need to go because it's going to take your understanding of all of this crypto world and make a little bit more sense in a tangible, real way. That he has data. It's not, you know. If you look at this chart, it goes here. You know, if you look at this line and you look at this historical data, no, he's showing you actual data that leads to some quantitative metrics that are in alignment with projections. That still is not financial advice, but it's just math then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, I think I know that people do TA, right? Technical analysis of charts. But what we're doing is that we have data of our BNB and our drip balance. And by having data of BNB and the drip supply, or the BNB balance and drip supply, that tells us a story about the behavior of the investors, right? We can say that, okay, around this time we had this much drip supply, right? Around this time we had this much BNB. Because whenever somebody's selling, a lot more sell transactions, you'll have a lesser BNB balance, and you'll have a higher drip supply. So by keeping the data on the supply and the BNB balance, we can use that to kind of tell a story also about the investor behavior instead of totally relying on technical analysis by looking at charts.
That makes sense. Yeah. You're understanding the market as a whole rather than just, this line's going to do this potentially. Yeah. And what I wanted to say a second ago was you're an intelligent creator because you have the ability to contextualize this technical analysis. You do a good job at contextualizing. And I think you're an intelligent creator also because you understand that while, you got to do homework and put slides together and this and that, you said it yourself, the energy to put the content out. If you don't have the energy to put the content out, it doesn't matter how great the graphs look. So hats off to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep. Not everybody. I don't think everyone realizes that if they are a creator, not a creator, but yeah, man, it's obvious you've done some homework at some point. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, for me, like I could not have gotten back into the code. You know, like I'm coding again, and before I put anything out, I have to understand everything. I always equate it to Jean-Luc Picard when it comes to knowing every part of the enterprise. You don't just want to be the captain that can go warp. You know, I want to understand all the different functions. I want to understand all the different contracts, the way that they interact. I don't just want to understand it at a high level. And I hope to provide the kind of feedback that you're doing with looking at the TA and the analytics, because I think you can't just look at it from one angle. You got to look at it from every angle, you know?
That's right.
Yep. I feel like this is only the tip of the iceberg for you. I feel like we were able to get only just the surface. I mean, you have a lot of depth that is very obvious. I ask this question to every guest that we have on that is a dripper. How long do you think drip is going to be here?
I have a sustainability video on my
That's
channel.
a shocker. What a shocker.
It's probably going to be the best you have out that you're going to find on YouTube. I also have graphs in that video as well. And one thing that people don't understand when it comes to sustainability is the aspect of virtual deposits, virtual compound, virtual reward. So we have our tax on transaction, but we have the virtual deposits and the other transactions in DRIP that's also virtual, which actually keeps DRIP from having to pay out rewards on an exponential level. So that aspect there also contributes to sustainability. And that's one main reason why I believe that DRIP can last for a very, very long time, because it's not actually paying out as much DRIP per day as people think.
Okay. And like I said, not much emotion that I'd answer, just technical analysis, studying behind it, and I love it. I'd have it no other way.
He's the best. You're really the best, Easy. Like, you're a talent, and thank God you are in DRIP to help explain it, because you just take it to a different level, and it's just not seen in the space. You're the only one doing it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for giving us your morning.
Now that we're done stroking his ego, I guess in closing, like, if you please, by all means, plug yourself. Where can they find you? We'll put it in the description. Anything in closing that you want to say?
Yes, you can find my YouTube channel, Easy Step Investing. Also, please, I have an Easy Step Telegram group. You can go to my YouTube channel and find the link to my group there. And I highly recommend that you guys attend or join the Reservoir chat, because there's a lot of information in that Reservoir chat. And now we have a team that's educated on Reservoir that if I'm not available or present, they'll be able to answer your question as well. And we also have an Easy Step Roundtable where our team comes together and we're actually building out diagrams. So I'm not building these diagrams by myself, but I have a skilled team that can do media for me. I have a skilled team that understands code and development. So they can contribute a lot of information to where I can build better content for you guys. Wow. I want to let you guys know that there's a lot of fire content coming that's going to really explain what DRIP is really capable of and how we don't have to rely on the code and tokenomics of DRIP, but we can band together as a community to ensure that DRIP lasts for us for a very, very long time.
What kind of closing should I do after that, Potter? Do you have anything? I hope you don't. Yeah. My gosh. Thank you so much from the both of us and from the audience. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Hey, guys.
Builders, keep building.